What if there were sacred codes, not just in the universe, but within you? Codes that don't speak in words, but in light, in vibration, in shape. Why has this symbol, Metatron's cube, shown up across civilizations from ancient Egypt to Kabbalistic mysticism? Why does it keep appearing in sacred sites, and even in people's dreams? Behind every great spiritual tradition, there are secrets. Not because truth is meant to be hidden, but because some truths must be unlocked. And Metatron, often called the scribe of God, is said to be the guardian of those truths. Today, you're not just going to learn about the cube, you're going to understand why it's more than a symbol, why it might be the blueprint of reality, and how awakening it can transform everything you know about yourself. This is the Cube of God. Metatron is one of the most mysterious and powerful figures in mystical traditions. Unlike many other angelic beings, Metatron was once human. In some teachings, he was the prophet Enoch, who walked so closely with the divine that he was transformed into an archangel and taken into the higher realms without experiencing death. From that point on, he became known as Metatron, the celestial scribe, the one who records the deeds of humanity and keeps the divine archives. But Metatron's role goes far beyond keeping records. He is said to guard the flow of divine knowledge, not just facts or scriptures, but encoded spiritual technology, what many refer to as Metatron's codes. These aren't words or doctrines. They are patterns, frequencies, and geometries that speak directly to the structure of reality itself. At the center of this knowledge is something called Metatron's cube. Metatron's cube is a complex geometric figure composed of 13 interconnected circles, with lines connecting the centers of each one. But this is not just a pretty symbol. Inside Metatron's cube are the Platonic solids, 5 three-dimensional shapes that are considered the building blocks of the entire material world. These solids, the tetrahedron, cube, octahedron, dodecahedron, and icosahedron, each represent an element: fire, earth, air, ether, and water. They also align with the chakras, the energetic centers of the human body. So when people talk about Metatron's codes, they're referring to more than symbolism. They're talking about the fundamental architecture of existence, a structure that repeats from atoms to galaxies. It's the same geometry that shows up in sacred art, temple design, and even quantum physics. Metatron's cube also overlaps with the Tree of Life, a central diagram in Kabbalah representing the path between the divine and the human. The Tree of Life is a map of consciousness, and Metatron's cube forms the scaffolding of that map. Some say it is the divine software of the universe, a kind of spiritual blueprint from which all creation emerges. More than just a cosmic diagram, Metatron's cube is also linked to the Merkaba, a light body vehicle made of 2 intersecting tetrahedrons spinning in opposite directions. The Merkaba is said to carry the soul between dimensions and is activated through sacred intention and meditation. Interestingly, the Merkaba is encoded within Metatron's cube as well. All of this may sound abstract, but the implications are practical. If Metatron holds the geometry of creation, and if that geometry lives within us, then activating these codes could unlock a deeper alignment with our highest self. Some traditions teach that Metatron helps humans remember who they truly are, not just in theory, but energetically, spiritually, and even biologically. In this sense, Metatron's codes are not information you simply learn. They are forces you experience. They recalibrate the body, mind, and spirit. They are living patterns, vibrating with the intelligence of the universe. And they don't just belong to mystics or spiritual teachers. These codes are already encoded into your DNA. The only question is, are you ready to activate them? Let's explore how sacred geometry holds the key. If Metatron's cube truly holds the blueprint of creation, then the next question becomes, how does it work? To understand this, we must step into the language it speaks, the language of sacred geometry. Sacred geometry is more than just ancient art or esoteric symbolism. It's a precise and intelligent system that reveals how energy organizes itself into form. From the spiral of a galaxy to the shape of a pine cone, from the structure of a snowflake to the cellular division in an embryo, geometry is everywhere. It doesn't just describe the universe, it builds it. The ancients recognized this. Civilizations as far apart as ancient Egypt, Greece, India, and the Mayan world all encoded sacred geometry into their temples, pyramids, and spiritual diagrams. They weren't just decorating with patterns, they were aligning with natural law. These shapes weren't seen as man-made inventions. They were understood to be reflections of divine intelligence, the fingerprints of creation itself. Metatron's cube is a prime example of this. Contained within it are not only the platonic solids, but also a perfect balance of symmetry, proportion, and movement. It shows how duality, light and dark, male and female, spirit and matter, can exist within a unified whole. This balance is what makes it so powerful. But the true power of sacred geometry goes beyond visual beauty. These shapes generate energy fields. They affect matter. They influence consciousness. For example, the Sri Yantra, another sacred geometric pattern, has been shown in studies to affect the brain's electromagnetic field. Even modern science is beginning to catch up, with physicists discovering geometric patterns within atomic structures and energy waves. So, when people meditate on Metatron's cube or visualize it spinning around their body, they aren't simply imagining something mystical. They are tuning into a geometric frequency that can reorganize the energy of the body and mind. Many who work with it report changes in perception, emotional clarity, and deep energetic realignment. Some feel like the body becomes lighter. Others describe the sensation of unlocking something ancient, like a memory that has no words. This isn't just spiritual metaphor. It's how vibration interacts with form. The cube creates a field, a kind of geometric resonance, that brings the body into coherence. And because it contains the core patterns of life, it communicates directly with the systems within you, your cells, your nervous system, your energetic field. What's most intriguing is that these patterns are not outside of us. They're woven into our biology. The double helix of DNA follows the golden ratio. The shape of our brain's neural networks mirrors the branching of trees and lightning bolts, all geometric expressions. So when we say Metatron's codes are already within, it's not poetic language. It's biological and energetic reality. When sacred geometry is understood not as art, but as an activation tool, everything changes. The shapes become keys, the codes become alive, and they begin to speak not to the logical mind, but to something deeper, something cellular, spiritual, and ancient. This is why many spiritual traditions guarded these teachings carefully, not because they feared the knowledge would be misused, though that's part of it, but because it required maturity to engage with. Geometry doesn't just describe the divine, it transmits it, and that transmission is happening now within anyone ready to receive it. But this isn't just theory or philosophy. If these codes are alive within you, then what actually happens when they activate? Let's go there next. So what actually happens when these ancient codes begin to activate within the body? Once Metatron's cube is engaged, not just understood, but energetically felt, a series of shifts begins to unfold across different levels of being. These changes can be subtle at first, or deeply profound. Either way, they're not random. They follow a kind of sacred sequence that reflects the very order the cube represents. One of the first things people often report is a sudden sense of inner alignment. It's as if different aspects of the self, emotions, thoughts, energy, begin to sync. This happens because Metatron's cube interacts directly with the body's energetic centers, or chakras. The 13 circles in the cube are often linked with the 7 main chakras, as well as additional, more subtle energy points that extend above and below the physical body. When the cube is visualized or activated, these centers begin to harmonize. This alignment can lead to very real experiences: tingling in the spine or crown of the head, sudden warmth in the chest, or a feeling of light pressure between the eyebrows. Some people report seeing flashes of light or colors behind closed eyes. Others find their breathing becomes slower and more natural, without effort. These are all signs that the codes are interacting with the nervous system and energetic field. But the transformation isn't limited to the physical. Mentally and emotionally, the activation can bring moments of intense clarity, like seeing through confusion or understanding something at a deeper level without needing explanation. Long-buried emotions may begin to surface, not to overwhelm, but to be released. This is part of the energetic clearing that often comes with spiritual acceleration. The cube doesn't just align energy, it reveals what's blocking it. Another common experience is an expansion in perception. Things feel sharper and more vivid. Time may feel different, either slower or strangely fluid. Intuition becomes more reliable. Dreams may become highly symbolic or more frequent, carrying messages or visions that seem to arrive from beyond the ordinary mind. Some report spontaneous downloads, insights about life, the universe, or their purpose, arriving fully formed without needing to be reasoned through. It's also not uncommon for people to feel a sense of emotional lightness, even if they can't explain why. As if something heavy has been removed, allowing for more joy, more ease, or a quieter mind. This isn't always dramatic. Sometimes the most powerful shifts come in silence, in a sense of stillness that feels more like remembering than learning. And while each experience is personal, there are patterns. People who activate Metatron's codes often describe feeling more centered, less reactive, and more connected to a sense of purpose. There's a deepened relationship with the body, not just as a physical vessel, but as a living temple for consciousness. Some begin to notice synchronicities increase, or that their outer life starts reflecting their inner clarity. These are not coincidences. These are signs that the energetic structure within, the same geometry that shapes stars and cells, is waking up. And once that happens, a return to the old way of being becomes almost impossible. Something changes, permanently, and yet none of this happens on its own. The codes are there, yes, but they wait for invitation. So how does one invite this activation consciously, with clarity and intention? Let's now walk through the steps to activate Metatron's codes for yourself. Activating Metatron's codes isn't about chasing a mystical experience. It's about consciously aligning with the geometry already present in the human energy field. The codes don't require belief. They respond to structure, intention, and presence. The more focused and clear the approach, the more potent the results. Here's a simple but powerful step-by-step method to activate Metatron's cube within your own energy system. Step 1. Set the intention. Everything begins with intention. Before starting, take a moment to get clear on why you want to activate these codes. Is it for healing, insight, alignment, or spiritual growth? Speak it internally or write it down. The codes respond to clarity. A scattered mind will produce scattered energy. A clear intention sets the tone for everything that follows. Step 2. Choose the method that resonates. There isn't only one way to engage with Metatron's cube. Some prefer meditation, others respond deeply to visual art, music, or light frequencies. Choose the method that feels natural to you. Here are a few powerful options. Meditation. Sit comfortably, breathe deeply, and visualize the cube. Sacred art. Draw or trace Metatron's cube on paper, slowly and mindfully. Music. Listen to light-coded music or sacred frequencies like 432 Hz or 528 Hz to prime your energy field. Energy transmission. Some people work with recorded activations or guided sessions that carry encoded frequencies. Step 3. Visualize the cube around you. Once you're grounded and still, begin to visualize Metatron's cube forming around your body. Picture it in glowing lines of light, gold, white, or violet. Let it expand outward from your center, forming a sacred structure that encases your energy field. As it takes shape, imagine each of your chakras lighting up, root to crown, connecting to different points on the cube. If you prefer, place a printed image of the cube under your seat or in front of you, allowing your subconscious to attune to its geometry. Step 4. Receive the code. Now, breathe slowly and deeply. With each inhale, imagine energy flowing into your body through the cube, soft pulses of light entering your cells, nervous system, and subtle body. With each exhale, let go of anything heavy or outdated. Some describe this part as feeling like a download, gentle waves of light, thought, or memory that surface spontaneously. Stay in this state for 10 to 15 minutes. There's no need to force anything. The cube knows what to do. Step 5. Ground and integrate. When the session feels complete, it's essential to ground. Stand up slowly. Drink water. Walk barefoot on the earth if possible. These practices help the energy settle into your system so it doesn't stay in the upper chakras or create imbalance. Journaling immediately after can also help. Write down what you felt, saw, or remembered. Sometimes the insight will come hours later, a symbol in a dream, a phrase in conversation, or an emotional release. Optional tools to enhance the process. Frequencies. Use 432 Hz for heart-centered calm or 528 Hz for DNA activation. Light code music, tracks designed with intentional harmonics, can deepen the effect. Drawing the cube. Repeating the pattern yourself activates the neural muscular connection between the hand, the brain, and the energy field. Above all, keep the experience gentle. Don't force results or overanalyze what happens. Metatron's codes are intelligent. They move through layers, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual, often over time. And once you begin, the unfolding continues. But it helps to know what might follow. Let's now explore what to expect after activation and how to recognize the signs that the codes have begun to do their work. After activating Metatron's codes, the integration process begins. This isn't always dramatic or loud. Sometimes it's subtle and quiet. Other times, it's deeply transformational. Either way, what follows is not random. The geometry you've aligned with has a pattern, and your body, mind, and energy field will begin reorganizing themselves to match it. One of the first signs many notice is a kind of detox, not just physically, but emotionally and energetically. It may appear as fatigue, vivid dreams, or waves of old memories surfacing. Some describe this as a spiritual purge, not because something is wrong, but because the body is clearing space for new frequencies to settle in. These sensations often pass within a few days, but staying hydrated, grounded, and well-rested supports the process immensely. Emotionally, activation can bring up unresolved feelings. You might suddenly recall something from years ago. Tears might rise unexpectedly. Or you may find yourself more reflective than usual. This is not regression, it's recalibration. Metatron's codes carry patterns that illuminate where energy has been stuck or suppressed. Bringing it to the surface is part of the healing. At the same time, many report an increase in intuitive clarity. Decisions feel easier. Gut feelings become more accurate. There's less second guessing. This happens because the codes help activate higher perceptual centers, especially those related to the pineal gland and heart coherence. In simple terms, the mind and heart start working together more smoothly. Dreams also become more vivid or symbolic. Even if the meaning isn't immediately clear, the feeling they carry is often deeply significant. It's common to see geometric patterns, beings of light, ancient symbols, or even direct interactions with Metatron himself. Whether these are internal projections or interdimensional experiences depends on your perspective, but the value remains the same. Pay attention. The subconscious begins speaking in clearer terms after activation. Another effect is energetic sensitivity. Sounds may feel sharper, environments may become overwhelming, or certain foods might no longer sit well in the body. This is normal. It means the nervous system is adjusting to the higher vibrational input. During this time, simplify where you can. Nature, silence, and stillness are powerful allies. In some cases, people begin to manifest with more precision. Intentions seem to take shape faster. Relationships shift. New opportunities arise. This isn't magic. It's alignment. When your energy is organized around coherent geometry, your external life begins to reflect that order. It's not about controlling the future. It's about harmonizing with a deeper rhythm so that what shows up is more in tune with who you truly are. It's also worth noting that you may feel drawn to specific colors, numbers, or symbols after activation. This is part of the code language starting to reveal itself to you. Write them down. Observe any recurring patterns. Over time, these symbols may begin to form a personal map, one that speaks directly to your path of evolution. Throughout this entire process, one principle matters above all: integration. The activation doesn't end when the session is over. The real work begins in daily life. How you respond, what you prioritize, how you care for your body, and what you choose to believe about yourself. These codes aren't simply lighting up your energy. They're rewiring your relationship with reality. You may begin to feel like you're not just living in the world, you're co-creating with it. That shift, once felt, is irreversible. So honor the space you're in. Observe with curiosity. And above all, stay open. These activations unfold in layers. Now listen. There comes a moment after activation where words fall away. Not because the journey is over, but because something deeper has taken root. Metatron's codes are not just ideas or symbols. They are living patterns, intelligent, responsive, and deeply personal. By working with these ancient structures, the soul begins to remember, not through belief, but through resonance. The alignment felt within the body, the clarity rising in the mind, the stillness expanding through the heart. These are confirmations that something sacred has been unlocked. This isn't about becoming something new. It's about returning to what has always been there, quietly waiting. So if the cube calls again, in dreams, in quiet moments, in sudden realizations, listen, engage. The more it's welcomed, the more it reveals. And now, take this as your gentle invitation. Continue the exploration. Trust what arises. Anchor it in daily life. If this message resonated with you, like this video, subscribe for more sacred teachings and share your experience in the comments below. Have you ever felt Metatron's presence or seen the cube in visions or dreams? Your voice may be the key that helps someone else awaken. Until next time, stay clear, stay open, stay aligned.